All right, guys, thank you so incredibly much for being here with me. I'm so thankful, grateful, incredibly joyful for the feedback that I've received on today's topic. So many people are trying to go, as we taught way back in July 2018, the 0 to 100K conversation. So many people are just trying to get their first sale. So they can be like, yeah, I did the right thing. I'm going after the right way of serving the world, the way of improving people's lives, the way of growing people's businesses, whatever that is, depending on what you do. So today's training is all about how to create your first sale. We're going to go over the mindset. We're going to go over the tactics. I got a worksheet for you. Just want to make sure I'm really helping you get that, I like to call it the dance or the nuance of really owning that conversation. So with that being said, a couple of things for you. First and foremost, we're going to do how we usually do this. We're going to go through our bigger picture, then we're going to get into the training, then we're going to get into the tactics. This may be a little lengthier than our normal monthly mastery training, just because of the sheer amount of content that I want to share, some illustrations, all these kinds of things. And please, please, please get your notes out, because everything we're going to cover here, even if you're not selling something per se, this is all about human interaction, psychology, and even a little bit of sociology. So that being said, let's go ahead and jump in, get started. Thanks again for being here. My job on this beautiful planet, as I hope you know, is to support you, to love on you, to care for you, to be somebody you can talk to who has that, I guess, open-minded, I don't bring judgment. I want to make sure that whatever dream you have a supporter, a cheerleader, a champion. That's what I always feel my job is. And it wasn't until the last 7 or 8 years that I got clear on how to do that. But I always had cheerleaders in my corner. My grandma was, as you may know, one of my biggest influencers, my mom's mom. And she was always my cheerleader. She cut out all the newspaper articles I was in, all these kind of things. My job is to be that for you. So if you don't have that in your life, you do now. I hope you know that. And of course, being part of our mastery community, you have the ability to get check-in calls with me. So if you haven't scheduled your check-in call, be sure to reach out via email or comment, whatever it is. Char, I need that check-in call so we can really assure what we're doing here or what you're doing in life, in business, online, is in alignment with what it is for you to have the best year ever. So with that being framed, let's jump in. Let's get at it. Thank you so much for being here. I'm so excited about this topic today. I can't tell you, I've been working on this for a long time, making sure I'm handling so many of the requests from Jim, from Paul, Daniel. So many people in our mastery community are like, dude, just how do I do this? Rob, Nina even, Linda. So many people have been so supportive on this topic. That being said, let's jump in, shall we? Let's go. I can't wait. So how does this work? As you probably know, there's 3 parts. The first part is the big picture. That's where we're going to go through and just make sure at the big picture of life that we're dialed in on things that really matter, that fuel and give us emotional catalyst to really going after our dreams in our entrepreneurial endeavors, in our business, or whatever that is for you. Cool? Second, we're going to dive into the training, and I think you're going to really love this session's training because it kind of breaks down from bigger picture into all the elements, and I'm going to just do the dance with you and give you the nuance. And again, what's worked for me over the years, I'm finally able to distill that and provide it for you. And again, I think you know my story, but created a business in 1995 through 2000, and before that was selling computers. So I guess now, I hate to think about the math here, 1988 to now is what, 31 years? Oh my gosh, I feel old. But for 31 years, I've been the entrepreneur and really going after different businesses, computer sales, internet service provider, web development, marketing, helping entrepreneurs get their dreams online and even offline. And this is everything that I know today, the very best of it. I'm going to share it with you and exactly how I approach sales. And I'm in a unique position as a side note for you, related to our training. I don't need to go out and acquire leads per se today because we've got so many people we serve that we can go deeper with. And that's my dream for you, is to have so many people you serve at a baseline level that you can reach out to them every so often and say, hey, do you need some more help with this? I got something more for you. So for me, it's like people are in our mastery community and I ask, do you need more help? Then we do vision, strategy, and planning. And many of them I've worked with have taken advantage of that. Many of them are like, I need that one-on-one. I need you to help develop. I need you to help market my online effort. So I have a company that does that. That's the company's Internet Services Group. It's been around since 2002. The business before that was Internet Services of Michigan, same branding overall, the first two words anyway. And these two companies have been web development, web marketing. Internet Services of Michigan, I started that in 1995, so that's 24 years. Wow, time flies. Just want to make sure you got some framing on the fact that what we're going to cover today has worked, and I'm so incredibly proud to be able to help you understand the fundamentals and the things that you need to say, and then to further you along the path to get more training if you want it. Sound good? Wow, that was a lot, wasn't it? So let's take a breather. Okay, here we go. We're doing the big picture first, then we're going into training, and then finally I want to make sure that as you leave this session, you have a worksheet, you have specific training that will help you completely own everything we're going to cover so that you can take and really work and get right into the conversation later today, tomorrow, Monday, whatever that is for you, just making sure that you have got a path. And if you have, that confidence issue come up, so many people do. They're like, oh my gosh, I got to go out and sell, which will overcome that, I hope for you, that you have the support you need from me and from our beautiful mastery community too. So that being shared, that being said, first step here, how to get the most out of our time together. Make sure as you go through this, especially if you need to have this conversation, no distractions. Turn off any buzzers, notifications, put do not disturb on your computer, on your phones, whatever that is. Make sure there's no distractions. I want to make sure you get this. Of course, you can watch the replay, you can get the audio, you get the worksheet, all these kind of things too. Really important though that you listen, because it's that, click, got it. Got to go after that. Sometimes these things happen as you go through the training. Next, take notes. Make sure you star any questions. We'll have our round table, and in our round table, I'm going to be answering questions, helping you even further with this topic and any other topics that come up. I'm so blessed that we have 2 round tables every month now, so that I can take care of you without such a big gap between, or we can do check-in calls, or we can do check-in calls. So whatever works for you, just want to make sure I'm taking care of you, serving you, and really helping you there. And of course, this is the kicker for growth. Please be open and vulnerable. Just talked to a new coaching client yesterday. That's probably the first 5 minutes of our conversation. If something comes up for you, I'm the only person that you may feel, this is what people have shared with me before, that I can be, or you can be, open and vulnerable with. Because here's what I know. The moment you think you shouldn't say something, you shouldn't share something, you shouldn't ask something, and you do, that's usually where the biggest growth comes from. You ever had that happen? Love that. So that being shared, make sure as things come up for you today, because a lot comes up in the concept of selling, that you share and you let me know. Okay? Cool. All right. Next, make sure you participate. So comment as we work through this. Please share. Please comment. Give your ratings. I do reward for participation. So you might have a little email from me saying, hey, I saw you were participating. Here is a book. Here is a thing that will help you on your journey, depending on where you need the help. Really, really powerful. And then finally, please know that we're all here for you. I want to make sure as we build and continue to build our community and we continue to grow, that you know you've got a group of people, growth-minded, that are here to help you down your path, whatever that path is. Cool? All right. Next up, our first step, perspective, big picture. Let's go in and talk about the 5 Ps. So before we get into a sale and having the conversation, this is really great priming. We want to ask and we want to assess, in line of our business, have we been feeling purposeful over the last, and we'll just say 4 weeks as of today. So the last 4 weeks, have you been feeling purposeful in line of what you do to help the world? And usually in high performance, we talk about the 2 ways businesses operate, or the 2 themes. One is to help others improve their lives somehow, like thought leadership, online training, yoga, meditation, whatever that would be, a business model around that, physical fitness, right? And the other is to help others grow their business somehow. So that could be in line of like what we do in our service group, web development, web marketing, right? So for me to feel purposeful, I'm helping others improve their lives and grow their businesses. For some, it's just help others improve their lives. For others, it's just help others grow their businesses. So in the last 4 weeks, how purposeful have you felt in your business? I'm going to go ahead and share my rating. I gave myself a 9 because I'm on it. And I got to tell you, this was a huge journey for me. And I'm so grateful to be able to share that number with you. but I'm on it and I'm owning it. And I want to make sure if you need more help understanding, getting clear, focused on your purpose, you have access, if you're part of our mastery community, to sessions 1 and sessions 2 in the core sessions about focus and clarity. And that whole series, our core series, builds to session 11, which is on purpose. So you might need to revisit. If your number is below a 5 here, you might need to revisit session 11, purpose, to reassess where that is for you. Does that make sense? To go back through the purpose worksheet. Who you want to be, what you want to do, why it's important for you. I'm so happy for you. I hope you're on the path of purpose. Next up is, passionate. You know, sometimes tech issues happen when you're running your own show. How passionate, how emotionally enthused have you been in the last 4 weeks about what you're up to, about serving the world, about helping people improve their lives, about helping people grow businesses? What's showing up there for you? What are you thinking? 9? This so ties into today's training, because when you have the emotional connection to what you do and if you can envision how, if people do what you're asking them to do in terms of maybe buy what you have or take advantage of your coaching or whatever that is, and you know the change that can happen in their life and you're connected to that result, makes the sale conversation so much easier. And I'll demonstrate how that works in just a little bit for you as well. I'm so excited to be on this topic. Can I tell you, I'm feeling the radiance. Next, how positive have you felt? Have you been bringing the joy in the last 4 weeks? If you've had, as humans do, that kick of like, what am I doing? I don't feel so good. Emotional, negative, neutral energy come up. Have you course corrected quickly? Do you have a good plan in play to really course correct? What's showing up there for you? So in the last 4 weeks, for me, 10. I've been on it. The first few months of the new year, 2019, worked diligently to kind of what I call economy proof. That required a lot of under the hood work. And now we're coming out like a spring flower, right? And we're going after all these different endeavors. And I'm so excited. Today we'll be talking through this, and then over the next week or two, we'll be really bringing some things online. So excited to be able to serve in these ways. And thanks so much for being part of this beautiful journey with me. Love doing this work. Love helping you. And I hope you feel it here, you know, that if you have a question, if you need some help, just pop the email. Let me know. We'll get on that right away for you. Cool? So 10 for me on that. Next, productive. And remember, in the high performance world, we consider productivity how well you've been moving along, doing the tasks that you need to do, but also towards your life's work, your life's ambitions. Like there's the part of, yes, I got priorities every day, if you remember the one-page productivity planner, but I got projects. I've got dreams. I've got ambitions. I'm going after them. You follow? Oh, I love this. So many people that I've met over the years are like task doers. They just get their list, they go, they take care of it, right? But I've asked some of them over the last 4 years. I've said, so on those tasks, do you have your life's ambitions in there? What? So sometimes the language that works, and coaches in the session here, you understand this, it's to say bucket list. Have you defined a bucket list, and is that in priorities or in your card or whatever it is, the way you manage your tasks? Are you working on the stuff you got to do, like take the garbage out, go to work, do all these things? But are you also working your bucket list? Like maybe on a weekly basis, checking one thing off your bucket list, or planning. If it's a big trip, for example, planning for that, scheduling it and making it real, and assuring you're living within your finances to do so. You follow? So this is a big part of productivity, and I just want to make sure you understand the difference in the way we approach it. So for me, a 9. Really been working at this. I know there's a little better than I could do, and I'm working on that piece of it, and it ties around the word consistency. So I've been building that as my word of the year for 2019. So that's a big part of it. But we got to be real with where we're at. Finally, how profitable have you been in the last 4 weeks? And I want to break that down real quick for you. When we talk about profit, the general definition is you have expenses going out, you have income coming in, and those expenses in a business include payroll, include paying yourself, include paying the bills, include any agreements you have, all that kind of stuff. And then above that, free and clear, is money you're making that is above the expense line, right? Profit. Income minus expenses. Are you in the black or are you in the red? And how does that look for the long haul? I like to break it down even further. When we think about profit in life, like to be profitable in your life, you have enough money to handle your break even, meaning if you're in own a house, the mortgage, the car payment, the insurance, all the things that are associated with those things. Then you have a layer of spending money. Then you have money you save for the future. And the layer of spending money and the layer or the amount you save for the future, that can be considered in some models profit. Above break even is considered profit. And I really want to make sure you get that as we step into sale, because that's a catalyst for really going after your first sale. And even if it isn't your first sale, this outline will help you really go after sales and hopefully, I can't make any promises, get higher sales conversion, right? To build more of that. So that being said, I hope you're doing well. If any area you're falling apart in, that's what our monthly Q&A is for. That's what our check-in calls are for, to make sure I'm taking care of you. Let's have that conversation one way or another to make sure it's dialed in for you. Sound good? Awesome. Next step is to go over our beautiful formula, the 4 needle movers for an exceptional business. And this is a huge part of the foundation for today's training. The first part is to create, build, and maintain, and I like to say exceptional relationships. Like top-notch relationships. Followed by having offers. Then, when you take relationships plus offers, it equals transactions, not transitions. Transactions, right? And you times this by consistency, and that's where you get the momentum. So let's break this down a little bit in today's context. To have a successful business, to create your first sale, you've got to have a clear offer. That's actually where we're going to start the conversation today. And then with that offer, you go out and you build relationships. And the arc that we're using for building relationships goes back to the persuasion formula, session 10, in the core sessions of high performance, where you empathetic, you're compassionate, you care, you're present, you're engaging, you're purposeful, and you're creating a relationship that acknowledges or asks, hey, how are you doing in life? How are you doing in business? Is there anything you're struggling with? Oh, okay. So then you have the conversation around struggle for a while, and then in that relationship, as you build it, you talk maybe about ambition. So what's possible for you? What would it look like if that struggle didn't exist? And you're able to really go after, that dream life, to have personal freedom, as we teach in the declaration sessions in high performance. And then at some point, invariably, you can say, if this is in alignment, the conversation arc from the struggle to the ambition is in alignment with what you can help them with, you say, hey, you know what, I think I might be able to help you here. Oh, okay, well, what would that look like? They might say to you. And then you'd say, well, I have a specific solution, and it might be, or offer, you could say that we can work together in this way, or I could have my team work with you. Whatever that is, and here's how that can look. Would you like to learn more? You'll notice that I'm using another aspect of high performance in here. People support what they create. So it's a very co-creative journey. And I want to make sure I plant these seeds around this formula, because this is everything about what we're going to cover in the training today. You follow? So relationships plus offer equals transaction. Our job is to assure you understand the best practices for creating that first transaction. And even if it isn't your first, that you're doing that in a more confident, courageous, competent way through proven tactics, proven techniques that are ethical, that support your growth, online, offline, text, whatever it is. You follow? And that we're applying consistency to this. So the best businesses, they're consistent about creating, building, and maintaining exceptional relationships. They're consistent about tuning offers, keeping ones that work, and growing offers based on feedback, people support what they create. And they're consistent about growing transactions, right? So our job now is to rate ourselves in the last 4 weeks. How have you been doing on creating, building, and maintaining exceptional relationships? So for me, that's an 8. Doing a great job with the people I'm blessed to work with, but I think I can do better with people that I know we can serve in a bigger way. And that's part of what I call the scale conversation as we get into really going after growth on the scale side with all the beautiful inventory of training we have. There's so many people out there that need what we have that we've just got to reach. So I'm going to be building new relationships, right? Creating and building new relationships as we go to scale, as I call it. Next up, offers. How are you doing last 4 weeks with offers that are converting? So for me, that's an 8. The offers that I have in play, they're going at it. They're converting. We're going to be bringing new offers online very shortly. That will be different techniques, different paths people can take just to get their feet wet and really go after that. Cool? And then finally, how are we doing on transactions? The beauty is in a recurring revenue model, transactions take care of themselves as long as you supply the service, product, solution, whatever it is, that they're paying for on a recurring basis. So a great example of that is in service companies, maintenance contracts, service contracts, in thought leadership, monthly memberships, where you're adding value every month, like we do. We do 2 trainings, we do coaching every month, and we do 2 Q&As just to take care of you and make sure you're really owning this. You follow? So that all being said, how consistent have we been? And I'm so happy to report this is an 8. I kind of measure the consistency aspect of this as how I'm putting goodwill in the world. And I've been on the hunt since January 1, putting goodwill in the world on my Facebook Health, Wealth, and Happiness page, seeing major results there in terms of likes and awareness. And then also some conversion, although we really haven't put an offer out yet. We'll be doing that for the scale piece coming up here in the next few weeks. So I hope you see how this all connects. So wherever you're at, if it's below an 8 and you need some help to level that up, Q&A, our Zoom Q&A, a check-in session, if you need to just kind of kick the tires, reinvent, I think today's conversation will really help you here. Just make sure you reach out, comment below, whatever I can do to serve and support you. I'm on it, and I hope you know it. So with that being said, our second step is fireworks training. So I'm running a one-man show, so let me go ahead and move the camera, and we will step right into training. Hope you're loving this, just like I am loving being here with you. All right, make sure that's in focus, and good to go. Is that in focus? And it is. Excellent. Very cool. So here we are in the training part of our journey in how to create your first sale mindset and tactics. Even if you've made sales before, this is the best practice for it. These are the elements that you have to have in play, that you really want to get ownership in, that create sales. And I want to dare say with the right people. So what I mean by the right people, if you've taken my business assessment, I'm very clear about the right customers, are the people that are, if you were to grade them, they're A+, A, maybe B grade customers who not only want what you have, but they're good people and you really want to serve them. So the arc of this helps attract that. It's not guaranteed, of course, but the arc of what we're going to go through today helps attract that. So that being framed, let's go ahead and jump first and foremost, where do we start? And this is not where most people start. Unfortunately, I see a lot of people going out there going, I want people to get my stuff. And I'm like, so what exactly do you have? And they do not have well-defined offers. They just don't have them out there. Like, well, I kind of thought when they would ask, I would tell them, yeah, this is what I can do, and I'll create a custom proposal or something like that. But I can only tell you that once you have an offer online and you're clear about it, and you have a way for that offer to take money, like in Kajabi, for example, a checkout page, just a checkout page, not a sales page, just a checkout, that you have got an advantage over others in terms of getting the sale. If you've described, we'll get into this, the emotional benefit of that checkout, that offer, boom, you're even at more of an advantage. So my first step for you is to define or even redefine your offers. And I'd love for you to take an offer or offers. I'd love for you to take a moment and think about whether you have offers online right now that you're willing to share. And if you are, put them in the comments below. If you're watching the replay, put them in the comments. Totally cool. And then tell how popular or how successful those offers have been. Have they been converting? Have you been sending people to them? Or is it just a test page? What is that for you? So do you know exactly what you are selling? And of course, remember that we have training, the Ultimate Offer Outline, which helps you define a best practice offer. The arc of the storyline, the hook, the ambition, these kind of things, times the full product review, feature, advantage, benefit. I don't know if you remember the language. We talk about the feature, and we talk about the advantage, how it helps their life for them, and we talk about the benefit, how it helps the people they serve, support, care for, and the world. with every feature, right? So you'll be seeing a lot of that as we revamp our offer videos in terms of me just walking through on the big screen what we've got and how it helps your life be better. I cannot wait for you to see that. I'm so excited. We got a great schedule coming up here. So the Ultimate Offer Outline will really help you articulate best practice for the offer. And if you don't know where that is, it's in the Business Builder course. It's also in the CHPC Business Builder course, or the Behind the Scenes Business course. I'll make sure to link to it in the replay so that you have that access and you can really get in that conversation. So how are you doing with your offers? We kind of frame that conversation in our perspective training, but how are you doing there? Are your offers clear? Are you peppering them in? After you've had a conversation, we'll get to that in just a second. Has it been working for you? Are people landing on the offers and just not taking advantage of it? Which means it's time to reinvent, redefine, reset that offer usually, or to run more traffic at it. You follow? So first step is well-defined offers. That's the first part of your checklist. Do I have well-defined offers? Am I clear about what I'm selling? And now let's step into step 2. Have you aligned your energy and enthusiasm with your offer? It was so awesome. 2012, November of 2012, one of the first Brendan Burchard events I went to was 10x Wealth in Business. And he said something that so spoke to me because at that point I'd been in business as an entrepreneur for 23 years. And so what he said was, so many times when I talk to entrepreneurs or business owners and they've had bad times in their business, I've asked, how is your energy during that time? And they've said things like, oh, I was going through a divorce. Oh, life showed up. I had major life issues going on. My energy for the business, for the customer was zero, was non-existent, tanked. I've seen people, I've watched people sell things on pure energy and enthusiasm. People are they get emotional. They get pumped up. They're like, this can help you so much. I want you to be taken care of. And that connection has helped people who are on the fence or, skeptical or whatever be like, well, they're energized and other people seem to be energized. Like, this must be something. Now, I would challenge you not to be, unethical about that, but to really be aligned purposefully, passionately, as we talked about, the emotional surge, the emotional catalyst for what you've got, to be energized and enthusiastic about your offer. So let's pause for a minute. And I want you to think, if you have an offer, how energized and enthusiastic are you about it? Like, here's an example. If I was to say to somebody, hey, I can coach you in high performance coaching, we'll talk about energy, we'll talk about clarity. It sounds like you need more clarity. We'll talk about courage. We'll talk about influence, because it sounds like you want to be more influential and really kind of be the best role model you can be. That's one level, right? But if I said this, along this line of people support what they create, in this way, I hope you feel the difference. Hey, so what is showing up for you? Because it looks like you're hurt. What's going on there for you? And then have them talk. Oh, okay. So the relationship with your wife right now is on the outs? How long have you been married? 7 years? Wow, okay. So what does it look like maybe to really course correct? Well, I know we need to communicate. I know we need to talk. I'm really afraid of that conversation. So it sounds to me like you need more focus and clarity about what it is you're going to talk about. And you also need to think about courage. Like, you got to be more courageous to have the conversation. Is that true? And you see how we're in the arc of the conversation, the struggle. And then invariably at some point I'll pivot. So what would it look like if you and your wife had the best relationship? And maybe you've had that before. What were the traits, qualities, characteristics? Oh, we were having fun. We were going on a date night. We were doing things we enjoy. Awesome. Okay, so what's the connector there? How can we get to from where you're at right now to here? Is that even possible for you? You'll see that I'm energized and enthusiastic about it. Tempered at the beginning from the struggle piece, right? But really going after the emotional surge, the emotional, I would even say passion for them. Because I believe in the human spirit. I want to make sure they're taken care of. But you feel the energy and enthusiasm for their better tomorrow? Huge. But you'll notice in that conversation, nowhere did I say, I can help you. Yet, I planted the seeds around some of the basics that we cover in high performance coaching: focus, clarity, courage. I had them kind of agree to it. And then I would talk to them more about, what does it mean for you to be really courageous? When's a time in your life where you felt a tremendous amount of courage? Maybe with your wife, maybe when you proposed, whatever that would be. You feel how we're getting that. I always call that stirring the pot, talking from the struggle to the ambition, kind of bringing online the emotions, the thoughts, the feelings that help them go after it. That's energy enthusiasm. So I want to give you a little challenge and ask you this question. Are you buzzing with engagement? Are you buzzing with engagement? You just want to really help, but you're not, you can be obnoxious. And I got to be careful about that because I can get there. But you're not being obnoxious. You're just going after this for them. And you know, without a shadow of a doubt, that the offer you've got can help them big time. And you've done the work to make sure you understand. If you get more focus, more clarity, more courage, I get chills just telling you this, more influence, what would your life be like? Not only with your wife, but in general. Would it be better? Yeah, and maybe you do some time in each of those topics, kind of touching the rim of what those things could mean for them by asking questions like, what would your world look like with more clarity? What would it feel like to be more courageous? How would you do if you felt more influential? More of a role model, teaching others how to think, maybe even challenging others in a positive way. Oh my gosh, then you can drop the offer and simply say, would you like some help with that? I'm so blessed because guess what? That's the first few topics of our coaching that I'm certified in. Focus, clarity, energy, courage, productivity, influence, these kind of things, right? And maybe just a strategy session. Would you like to just dip your toe in this to see what's possible? But everything I just shared with you, filled with energy and enthusiasm. I'm so clear about my offer. And I hope you may be saying, you know what, I haven't put the miles in with whatever I'm serving with. Like for some of the certified high performance coaches, they haven't put the miles in. Your job is to get some miles put in through beta coaching, through testing, through just recruiting whoever you can, just to see if you can help them. That's the magic. But my challenge for you is to do that with energy and enthusiasm. And if you can think of one thing, this is what I always think about. It's the human spirit of what's possible together. With me, somebody you can count on that cares for you, that's your cheerleader, that supports you, that openly listens to whatever you throw out. I've had this happen twice this week. People have said, now this is going to sound weird. And I'm like, I paused to one guy. I said, you know what? Nothing sounds weird to me. Nothing. Because this is your journey, your life, your path. It may sound weird to others, but I'm here to be open-minded, supportive. I'm not bringing judgment. This is where you're at in life. Until they share, they're like, was that weird? And I'm like, not at all. I can't share what it was, but you hopefully get an idea there. The arc of everything so far is this, 3 points. Do you have well-defined offers that you feel emotionally charged about? And I've had to course correct so many times. I'm like, am I still behind this offer? Do I need to adjust this? And then I have to get re-engaged with an offer, especially if I'm going into a speech where I'm going to have the ability to sell, from stage or whatever that would be. I got to really get connected to the emotions of what this offer can do for others. And I think if you're going to take any notes, write that one down. Well, write 2 things down. People support they create. And 2, you've got to get emotionally connected to what this can do for the human spirit, the human drive, right? And then you have to back it up with your appropriate level of energy and enthusiasm. Something we teach in high performance is to jump that up 10% more, to push past that line of comfort, to bring even more energy and enthusiasm, especially on video, and really own it. So are you buzzing with engagement? Are you fully present? Are you listening? Active listening, and then bringing in full focus, full vibrance, full vitality into the offer, into the conversation. And even if it's an email, even if it's in an email funnel, can I see you're getting emotional and you're enthused through your text? Do you have just lowercase, or every so often do you have uppercase with an exclamation point? Do you go after the description of the emotion of what's possible for them. You follow? I hope you're seeing this rolled out in all different contexts. Cool? Because typically, the way we frame so far, this offer sits online on a page. It's well described, following the ultimate offer outline, and the energy and enthusiasm is in there, either in a video that reviews the offer or in the text that reviews the offer. And people feel your energy. So how are we doing so far? I want to take a little breather here, grab a little coffee, think about this. How well defined are your offers? How well defined is your energy and enthusiasm? Have you practiced what we just talked about? Have you really spent the time to get behind your offers because you know how they can really change people's life for the better, improving people's lives, change people's businesses for the better, growing their business? You follow? That's the one thing. When I've had the most amount of sales in my businesses, when we were going into new territory, for example, one of the reasons it took off so fast is because I was so on the cusp of enthusiasm and energy for it, because I could see what it could do. And then we were testing with a couple of clients, especially in the marketing world, and we're seeing such result around awareness, leads, and sales. I'm just like, more people need to know. And then I got speaking gigs around it. Next thing you know, we buried my team. 2011, 12, 13, 14. My team, we figured we could handle around 20 projects. I had 42 in the queue. They're like, dude, you got to shut up. That's a bad problem to have, right? Or is it? So it's a big part of this. And I wish that you have that kind of issue to run into. And if you need help there, I'll help you, because I've been there many times. But it's really, really critical that these elements are at play. And I hope I've created a foundation for you around that. Next step, part 3, know your supporting stories and illustrations. Or illustrations. So the way that you want to arc this, does your story clearly go from, I always draw this up, the S to the A, the struggle to the ambition, and you have the steps in between. So let me break down a couple examples for you. Back when I was running my big business, Internet Services of Michigan, one of the biggest complaints people had was getting disconnected from the internet. And so it was typically because they would have, back in the day, they were Packard Bell computers, right? So they would have Packard Bell computers, and in those computers, they had really crappy modems. That's the device that connected to the phone line that would dial out. Remember the days, if you're around back in those days, you'd hear screech. We were the other end of that. Like when you connected to it, we had the modem banks and all the things that would connect you to the internet, right? So I said, what is it that I need to do to really own this for people? And I said, what we have to do is use these higher end US robotics modems. And you know what? People should be having a better computer and a better experience. So I developed, in the course of literally an hour, what I called and branded right away the ISMI, Internet Services of Michigan, NetSurfer computer. And so the story that I would tell people is that, you know what, when you're connecting to the internet, the phone lines and the quality in different areas in this county, Livingston County, Michigan, for those of you up there in beautiful Michigan, where we built that beast, are in some areas are really low quality. They got a lot of static, and that's an issue for keeping connection. So you have to have a higher grade modem. But beyond that, you got to have a bigger computer. And then my offer going from here was, we built a computer system. We build computers from scratch with high grade components, including a high grade modem. And here's what we got for you. We got a NetSurfer. We got 3 different models. But all of the models include a high grade modem, high grade computer. They include a full year of internet access. They include training. And they include in-home delivery and setup. And we can usually do that within a day or two because we have them pre-built. And then keep in mind, this was in the late 90s. This was unheard of. So big part of this conversation, the supporting stories and illustrations, overcame what you'll talk about in the offer world and the sales world, objections. Is it affordable? Is it quality? How hard is it to set up? What's included? So we took care of the whole spectrum. But I had very clear stories and illustrations about, this is something we teach in high performance, implied consequences. Yeah, you can go to CompUSA, you can get a Packard Bell and that, but you're probably going to get frustrated with the modems that they have, and the fact that if you're in a place where the phone lines aren't of good quality, boom, you're going to be getting disconnected. And that's so frustrating. And I go, I know, I've been dealing with that, da, da, da. So our computers are this. Now, there isn't a guarantee they won't get disconnected, because that could be related to a really, really bad phone line. And there's a couple things we can do there for you, help you with, back in the time, Michigan Bell Ameritech. That was the phone company. But do you see how the story and illustration that I would share helped? And I got that dialed in so much that people would be like, okay, what do I need to do for the net server? Oh, that's pretty expensive. Okay, well, we have a payment plan. So I overcame the objection of expense. People were like, oh, well, this computer's like $2,000, but I can pay $200 a month for 10 months? Or I can pay, $250 for our medium-sized one. I think it was $3,000. $250 for 14 months or 15 months. And we did our own financing at that point. We could. So it was great. And for most people, we didn't charge any interest, because I was like, you know what? If you're going to make payments and be on our service, we got you covered. And I want to take care of you. This was the arc of that. So stories and illustrations around high-performance coaching, for example, the coaching that I do. A great story is how the idea that a relationship is about having a great relationship, whether it's for business or life, is about having great communication. And how are you communicating? Are you living into this? People support what they create with your spouse, with your friend. And so I'll go into a deep story or illustration that supports. The people that report the problems that you seem to be having have mentioned to me, and I've had the honor of coaching hundreds now, that their communication needs to be bumped up. They're not good at having difficult conversations. So I'd recommend you read a book, Difficult Conversations. But if you want, I can role play for you and really help you, or I can showcase through a story or an illustration that this is how that can work. And so invariably they'll say, well, can you tell me exactly how? So I said, instead of coming in and saying, honey, take the garbage out. It's a great example of this. Honey, would you take the garbage out? You bring the right amount of energy and enthusiasm. Say, sweetheart, would you mind taking the garbage out when you get a chance? Same line, different energy and enthusiasm. And I'll use that as a litmus test to test that for them through that story illustration. So I hope you know most sales can be won if you know and are articulate with supporting stories and illustrations, especially after they've talked to you about what they're struggling with. So if they say relationships, and you say, would it be beneficial for you to be clear about who you want to be, how you want to interact, and what makes you successful in a relationship? Yeah. How would that even look? Well, let's just develop 3 words of who you want to be when you're in conversation in a relationship. How you want to interact. Let's develop 3 more words of how you want to interact at your very best. These should be a stretch for you. How you want to interact at your very best. And let's develop even 3 more words that are you at your most successful. In the relationship or out of the relationship, just in general. By the way, that's what we do in session 2 of our high performance work. You see? So we've kind of taken the story illustration about communication, split it into those 3 elements. And if you don't have time for 3, just do the interactive words. So you've got to be real clear on the stories and illustrations, is my point. So, for example, in the context of what I just shared, I want to make sure I'm drilling this home for you as an illustration, is you would say, how do you have, this is a great question, do you have words in mind of how you want to interact with that person you're having a struggle with right now in your relationship? The moment you come into their space, the moment you see their eye whites. Or you just kind of fly by the seat of your pants and wait for them to say those words, and then you react, and next thing you know, you're on a negative spiral. And I'd say I've asked this question at least a couple dozen times over the last 6 years, and they'll say something along that, no, I don't even, what? They don't even think about that. No, okay, so are you up for a little exercise? People support what they create. Let's go through this, and I just dose a little bit of that story illustration. The highest performers, sometimes I'll say that, other times I'll say, the people who have the best relationships, they're conscious of how they want to be, or who they want to be, when they interact with others. And they'll set markers or words to strive towards. So for me, that's compassionate, loving, and joyful. So if I'm in a conversation, I'm compassionate, meaning I want to hear where you're struggling and I want to help you alleviate it. Loving and joyful, right? That's the pieces. So how are you doing? Then you can go into a self-assessment with them. You may tell a longer story there, but you notice that story also has a training element to it. You follow? So I'm going to say it one more time and then we'll wrap up part 3. How many stories and illustrations do you have nailed for the common things that relate to them wanting to work with you, to them saying, tell me more about how you can help me? And are you bringing the appropriate level of enthusiasm and energy and engagement into the conversation? Is this stacking up for you? I hope this is working out well for you. This is everything. How do you feel if you got some of this stuff dialed in, that you'd be like, watch out, world, here I come? And is there an excitement for you to go out with your offer and pile this stuff in and just own the conversation? Like when I get going on this and think about this and I reframe myself along these lines, I'm like, give me people. I'm ready. And that's what we're doing as we go into March, April, May. Really owning that conversation. So I hope this is helping you. So, time for an assessment. Offers. Are they defined? Are they following best practices? Do you know exactly what you're selling? 2, is your energy and enthusiasm aligned with the offer? Do you feel like, you know what, I know if this stuff gets put in play, people are going to feel better. I'm going to improve their life, or depending on what you do, I'm going to grow their business. I'm going to help them. 3, do you have supporting stories and illustrations? Typically that arc from a struggle to an ambition. And like, you know what? You're struggling in a relationship. I've worked with people who struggle too. Would it be helpful if I told you a story? Like, that's one of my favorite lines. Would it be helpful if I illustrate? In my coaching calls, you'll hear it if you listen to them. Like, would it be helpful if I illustrated for you right now? Oh, and every time you're like, yes, please. And then after I'm done, what do I say? If you've ever listened to me or been coached by me, you'll hear me say, with everything I just shared, what are some insights, thoughts, takeaways? Do you have any questions? In between this story. So a sandwich, that opener, and then that close, in between the story, on the outsides of the story being told. You follow? I know this is a lot, but trust me, if you get this dialed in, do you think you'll be doing better in terms of sale? And for your first sale, to really go after it. If this is your next step in your entrepreneurial journey is to create that first sale, this is the fundamentals for you. I hope you're feeling it. All right, let's go on to step 4. Define and practice your 3x3s. So this takes what I just shared with you and puts it into a construct that will really help you. Here's the thing that I've done and I really try to own. Do you have 3 questions that 1, elicit struggle, 2, pivot to the ambition, and 3, ask if you can help them? So you hear that in line. If you listen to the replay, you'll hear me asking the right questions that elicit the struggle, that pivot to the ambition, that ask if I'm ready to help you. But I want to make sure we get this contextualized for you. So let's go into internet marketing. Number 1, when I meet with somebody, my job, following what we teach in high performance, the 9 elements of influence, is to be honoring and don't hurry. So typically I have a 30-minute or an hour discovery meeting. And in the first 20 minutes of it, all I'm trying to accomplish is getting their challenges, struggle, frustrations out of them. And I'm noting them. So I'll frame, I'll be like, hey, Bob, thanks so much for coming in. Thanks so much for meeting with me. Would love to start this meeting by letting you just share whatever's on your mind in relation to what's showing up for you online or what isn't showing up. And invariably, they'll say things like, I'm not showing up, I'm not SEO'd, they'll say. I don't have a social media profile, I don't email my people enough. And I'm noting all this. And then I'm asking great questions that help me understand and articulate while almost educating them. So it sounds to me like you really want to have, pivot to a mission, emails going out every month or 2 to your customers to let them know what you're up to. Okay, that's a good business practice. Would you agree? People say, they agree. Invariably, after that 20 minutes of going after the struggle, and then I'll pepper in some pivot to the ambition stuff, about 30 minutes. If it's a 20-minute or if it's a 30-minute meeting, I do about 15 minutes of struggle. I go after for 5 to 10 minutes of ambition. And then I talk about, okay, we can definitely help you. Would you like some help? Really going after these, and I'll pick 3. Emailing your people, having a good social media strategy, and getting your site ranked online, organically, or depending on whatever the context was. Yes, thank you. That's why I'm here. Cool, okay. And then boom, I go through the specific offer of what we can do. Following best practices. bringing energy and enthusiasm, having related stories and illustrations. You follow? Is this coming together for you? So your challenge with number 4 is very clear to me. Practice, define and practice your 3x3s. Really work to have language that's natural to you, that no matter the context, meaning that, let's just say it's 1 minute I'm talking to somebody about internet marketing and business development, and next minute I'm talking about somebody that's having a relationship issue in a life, not in business, right? Completely kind of unrelated. I've got very similar questions that I ask in these 3 areas. Hey, what's showing up for you right now? Boom, that elicits the struggle, right? Boom, what is that next step for you? Pivot to the ambition. What is your biggest frustration right now? You see how that applies in internet marketing, business development, and in relationships? So if you're not writing those down, write them down and make them your own or use them. Try them and see what happens. What does the world look like if you get this right? That's one of my favorite pivots to ambition. If you want to use the Dan Sullivan question, very powerful. What does the world look like a year from now, looking back, where this isn't even a problem anymore? What did you do to make that happen? You know, the Dan Sullivan question is more along the lines of to be happy with your progress a year from now on topic. Well, what had to have happened? Right? I love that. Future positioning, reverse engineer. And asking it. So let me get this straight. You're struggling in these areas. You really want these things. We're blessed to be able to help you there. We're really competent in these areas. Would you like some help? Would you like to learn more about how we can help you? Boom, back up here. Bringing the energy and enthusiasm. And as they talk, supplementing with stories. Yeah, so some people will say, yeah, I want help with my SEO, but I've worked with people and da-da-da, and they don't know what they're doing. And I always do the litmus test for that. I've got a really powerful story illustration. I said, number 1, did they actually share the words, phrases, keywords that they're going after with you? 90% of the time people say, well, not really. Or the person didn't pay attention, right? But the ultimate test for that is how abundant and open are they with what they're going after. And it's really weird in the internet marketing world. They'll be like, I'm performing magic behind the scenes, and here's a report that shows that you're getting people to see you. But I always challenge them, are you getting people to see you? Are they the right people? Are those people converting into leads, making themselves non-anonymous by calling you? Are they converting into sales ultimately? The awareness leads sales component. You probably have seen that in some of my previous trainings, right? So this is the big part here. Having the stories and illustrations that help them understand the things they need to be looking out for inside of whatever the service, solution, or product is that you provide. And again, all of this can be done in person, through Zoom or Skype, in email, in a landing page, asking these questions. But it's this kind of conversation that I'm not seeing with a lot of people who are new entrepreneurs. They aren't defining an offer first. They're like, I'm just going to go out there and tell them I'm a high performance coach. I'm just going out there and tell them I can help with internet marketing. But when they ask me stuff, I'm like, yeah, so we can take care of that. But they don't get the conversation going, which goes back to what I talked about at the beginning, about getting the right customer. When you go through this and you hear people and they'll start to tell you, yeah, I'm struggling with this and this ass and this da-da, and they're using bad words and all that, and you're like, whoa, that's a tell. Because when you go after struggle, sometimes the emotions come up. And that's a tell whether you want to work with them or not. You follow? So I hope you see how this builds the case for getting the right customer for your services, solutions, or products. I think it'd be helpful if we walk through this one more time for you. How about you? Thanks so much for being here. I hope, my heart of hearts, that this is helping you down your path to getting your first sale. And if it isn't your first sale, to upping the conversion in your process. Do you see how all these pieces kind of stack and mash? Let's go over one more illustration. Somebody came to me and said, hey, Char, let me actually give you a real illustration, like a live recap of something that's happened recently. Char, our competitors are taking us over, online and offline. And I don't know what to do. What parts do you feel like they're taking over on? Well, they're landing contracts that we should have. Okay, so they're landing contracts. Why do you believe that they're landing contracts you should have? What are they doing differently, or what are you not doing that they're doing? Well, our online is non-existent. They're crushing it with value-driven data, value-driven videos, value-driven text, content. And they're out there doing emails, sending them to our vendors, sending them to our builders, da, 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 da. Pivoting ambition. So what would it look like for you to get something going where you feel hope again, where you feel like you're on the right path? Well, I'd love to get some form of social media on a consistent, and they may not say the word consistent, I have to bring that in, a consistent fashion. I want to make sure that the social media isn't just, hey guys, this is what we do. That's where I educate them. It shouldn't be about this is what you do. It should be about how you do it and the way that you want to put goodwill in the world and sharing success. Sharing aspirational, inspirational, motivational pieces in line of what you do, right? And then invariably near the end, I'll say, so it sounds like you're struggling in these areas. To get hope, you want these things. Would you like some help? Awesome. I'm going to follow up with an email for you, kind of recap what we've talked about. Let me think about the best ways to help you. And in that email, and I'll have this for you in our worksheet, is it says, here's some struggles, here's what you want, or the ambitions, and here's a couple options for you. Our base plan is this amount per month. If that's too expensive for you, we can do these specific things at our lower price tier. I guess our base plan would be, $1,500 a month. Our lower price tier is $1,000 a month, and we'll hit just the notes, 2 of the things that we know we can do to maybe forward this, give you some hope at a lower price point. That's how that can work. That's what's worked for me, and that's what worked for many, 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 many people. And inside of those options of how I can help, I'm linking to an offer page so they can get in, click, buy, go. It's crazy how fast that happens. So many people think they need a 5-page proposal. Today, not the case, and I can prove it. We send, here's your struggles, here's your ambition, here's the next steps. Got 2 options. People are clicking that within, an hour of reception. Traditionally, we would have sent a 5-page proposal, they have to write a check, and we have to go get it, and da 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 da. Now it's just, this is it. Boom. If that offer is set up on a recurring basis, good for you. Recurring revenue equals personal freedom. So I hope this has helped. So far we're step 4. Step 5 is what I would like to call advanced work. You get masterful here, and I've been hinting at this the whole time, the world changes. This is not only in power in terms of online video, but it's also in just email. It's also text, like if you're texting people. It's also in like Zooms and Skypes, those kind of things where you're reviewing what you can do when you're in this phase, the how can I help you phase. So it's get masterful, speaking to their benefit and to those they love and or serve. So what does that actually mean? And I hope you've been hearing it as we've been working through this. So I can say, based on that last example, here's what I know. You sound like you want hope. And if we get these things dialed in, you're going to feel better knowing you have a strategy and actionable things happening that are putting goodwill in the world. Equal to or better than that competitor who's kicking your butt. And those customers, you know you can take care of them equal or better than that competitor. And they're going to love you for it. You hear how I just went through the emotional benefit of feeling and extending the feeling. We teach this in high performance. If you need a refresher, go back to session 10 on the 9 elements of influence. Speaking to daily impact is one thing, but future benefit, extended benefit. We call that benefit extension. And you'll see it in those elements of influence. So you see how this ties back? I know this is a lot. So if you want to think about how to approach this tactically, we'll talk a little more about that in just a minute. Define week 1 in your schedule that's going to define and redefine your offer or offers. Just make that a week goal and go through it. If you need my help, we're going to dive deep and go after that for you. Define week 2, just getting your energy aligned. How can I practice in the mirror, for example? How can I just really go after this and be so clear about what the emotional benefit is for you that I can't wait to test a strategy session with you, to help you on the specific issue that you've got. Remembering people support what they create. Week 3 is to develop and practice storytelling. Always remember the arc of a good story usually starts with a struggle and goes after an ambition. And the end of a good story is a happy ending, right? The happy ending is problem solved, people feel better, and they're doing ... in relation to whatever it is I can help you with. So in context. So your struggle of not having an online presence that's kept up, and the ambition is to have one, and you're helping the very people that you know you can serve, and seeing those emails, those contact inquiries come in, or those orders pressed, whatever that is. You follow? Next week, practice your 3x3s. Develop maybe 12 questions. Narrow them down to 3. Just keep brainstorming on how you can elicit the struggle. 2, pivot to the ambition. Develop some questions that say, so what would the world look like if everything was perfect? How would you feel a year from now if you got this right? What would we have to do to get there? These are all ambition-based. And then practice at least 3 questions about asking for, and this is, some people call this asking for the sale. I just call it educating them on how to buy. Thank you, Jeffrey Gitomer, for that distinction. And it's just, hey, would it be helpful if I told you how we can help? Would it be helpful if you got some support here? Because I think I can support you and help you. Would you like to know those options? Well, let me email those to you. Sometimes for people who get caught up in the price, you can just email them. And the way you frame for that is, let me think through the best way to help you with all the stuff that we've talked through. And I'll send you an email a little later today or tomorrow morning that reviews 2 or 3 options for you. And those options should be linked to your offers. You follow? I hope this is all coming together for you. Week 5 is getting masterful speaking the emotional benefit. How can I practice the emotional benefit piece? And that I'd love to role play with you and work with you on. So if that's something you want to do, let me know, or do it in our Zoom Q&A roundtables. I'm happy to role play that until day's over. I'll do that for hours with you. I just want to make sure you get this, because once you get this, you're one offer away from completely changing your life, from living your dream lifestyle. That's my belief, only because I've seen that for me. Owned it. You follow? That's how I rated a 10 today on profitability. The final part, and you probably knew this was coming, is to brainstorm and then create and build relationships. Remember our formula, R plus O equals transactions. Relationships plus offers equals transactions. Once you have this down, then it's time to go and do it. And I don't even consider you having to have this down. I just consider you going out and having conversation, but arcing it with what we've talked about here. You follow? The essence of it all is right here, right here, right here. It's the 3x3s. That's how the conversation arcs. So let me give you a complete illustration of how when I get introduced to somebody brand new, if you've been in any of my training before, you know this. It's not, hey, I'm a high performance coach and I also do internet marketing development with other business. It's, I help you from where you're at to where you want to be. And I'm blessed to do that in 3 ways: in life, in business, and online. You struggle in any of those areas? Boom, we're right into the struggle. Some people walked away. They don't want to have the conversation. Not really. And they leave. That's been at a party where they were kind of drunk. Others have said, wow, yeah, I'm struggling with my business right now. We're trying to get a new product online and we're just not having any success with it. Okay, so what does that look like? And then I'll walk them through a model of this. Are you clear about what you're offering? Is your team, are you energized and enthusiastic about it? Have you got supporting stories and illustrations of how it can make the world better or make the customer's life better? Do you have great questions, either online or in person, that elicit the struggle, that go after the ambition, that make sure they know you're the one that can help them? Mm-hmm. Are you speaking to their benefit? This is the one most people miss, by the way. Going after that. You see that line comes right from my purpose statement? It's the do part of session 11, Purpose Mastery. To improve people's lives by helping them from where they're at to where they want to be. Recognizing most people don't know where they want to be, we got to dream big. Is that helpful? I hope we've drilled this home for you today. I hope you're feeling it here. This is everything. So your job with number 6 is to really think about 10 people that you're just jumping out the door to go meet. Maybe you got to research them on Facebook. Maybe they're in a networking group. Whatever it is that you're going to test this with. And it starts right here. That introduction. So if you need help forming your introduction, let me know. Comment below or get in the Q&A Zoom roundtable. We'll work that introduction for you. and really own it, that you pivot to the ambition, and then you ask for help. In that order, best practices. So many people is like, yeah, I can help you. Just sign up here. But they haven't built the emotional case to really go after how they can help and why it's important. Remember, people buy on emotion, right? So we're really working to get their emotions and they've supported the solution. Like, it's not like, hey, you said you had these problems. I have a program here that I can throw at you that'll do that for you. No, it's like, would you like some help with those specific things to get the specific result or the specific ambition? I think I can help you there. Here's how that looks. You follow? So powerful. So always know this will be available as a replay and you'll have the audio of this to really own it for you. With that being said, how'd we do? Are you feeling it? Would love for you to share in the comments below one takeaway, one insight, one thought, one thing you got to take action on, one thing you got to double down on to really own this conversation. You follow? I hope this helps. I'm getting chills just being here with you. Thanks so much for all your support, love, care, and thanks so much for feeding back to me because this is truly people support they create. This has been a big issue for a lot of the people in our mastery community, tons of people that I'm coaching, not in our community. Like, they're like, dude, I'm trying to build my entrepreneurial dream. What do I need to be aware of? You got to be aware of creating some transactions if you want this to sustain, right? My job is to assure you get transactions going. At the best, you're getting recurring transactions because recurring revenue equals what? Personal freedom. And always remembering people support they create. So let's dive into the tactics. First and foremost, download and fill in the worksheet. So the worksheet breaks this out for you and gives you time to journal. I'm also going to be making that worksheet available as an Evernote template. So I'll share that link with you. It'll be in the replay below. So you can just get in Evernote, copy that. Maybe I'll make it available as a note, like a raw text note too, so that you have the capacity to put it in Word or whatever your favorite editor is and go after it and really own it. Second, watch or rewatch the Ultimate Offer Outline training so that you get the best practices for the things you need to hit in your offer. Typically that's on a landing page, an offer page where you share the information that hits some of these notes, but also offers the ability for them to purchase it now. So when you send that email out that says, here's a couple options, you're sending them to offers. Option 1, maybe it's a higher price point. Option 2, medium. And option 3, join our mastery community because you're going to get the support, love, and care you need. And it's the lowest price point that I can help you with. If budgeting is an issue for you, if you just can't make that other commitment at this point. You follow? 3, practice, bringing each step to life. And I want to make sure I've illustrated this. So if you have to download part 2 of this training, part 1 is the perspective, part 2 is the training, part 3 is what I'm going over right now, the tactics, and just listen to it again and again and again. That's the very best that you can do. Integrate. Own it. Number 4, are you ready for this one? Ties into number 6 over here. Go and do it. Aim for 2 relationships a day. Try all modalities. So what do I mean? I mean, when you go after people to create relationships, create and build relationships, I love to work with spreadsheets. And in the worksheet, I'll make sure that I have that for you, a place where you can put down your first 10 relationships you're going to go after. And maybe you write down what you believe their pain point is. But don't make the assumption that's their pain. Ask them through your introduction or through eliciting the struggle questions. So what are you struggling with? And that you may be totally wrong, but get their wording. Critical. Aim for 2 connections a day. Inside 5 days, that's 10 connections. If you can get one of them to your offer and they say, I would love to work with you, then you just made your first sale. You follow? This is a numbers game and the math supports. If you're clear on your offer, you bring energy and enthusiasm, you know your stories and illustration, you have clear offers online, for example, where you can take money and people can purchase, and you've done your 3x3 work, and you're speaking to their benefit, boom, that's the shift. So are you up for that challenge? I hope so. That's putting the rubber to the road. That's putting the pedal to the metal. 2 per day, that's it. When I say try all modalities, try texting them. Try emailing people. Try reaching out through Facebook Messenger. Try scheduling lunches or coffees or breakfasts or brunches. You know, if you don't have time for any of that, at least you can go out maybe on LinkedIn and ask people, hey, I noticed you're doing this. Do you have any problems in this line, in this area? Because it's my expertise. Does that all make sense? So with all that being framed, I hope we've covered it. Adult learning theory says I need to go over it one more time with you to make sure it integrates and lands for you. So very clear. Define, redefine your offers. Use the ultimate offer outline to get the best practices there. Ask yourself, do I know exactly what I'm selling? And more importantly, do I know the benefits of what I'm selling? And can I clearly articulate the stories and illustrations that support people in similar circumstances to where they've gone because of my help? You follow? Are you buzzing with an engagement? Are you bringing the energy and enthusiasm? Define and practice your 3x3s. Get master from speaking to their benefit. And go out and do. So with that being said, thank you so much for being here. You know my job is incredibly clear. It's to help you live purposefully, passionately. You feel it if you get it. Positively, productively, making sure those conversations aren't, oh, I didn't land another one. I just spent an hour at lunch. And profitably for sale. So I hope we delivered on it. Thank you so much. Put any questions you have below. Get the worksheet. Get to work. If you need any help, I'm here for you. Let me know. I'm happy to serve you, support you, take care of you. Love you. Take care. Have a good one. Bye. We rocked it.